Hi folks, we're Travel with Johnny and Will, and as you probably have noticed, we are back home. Unfortunately, our cruise has come to an end on the glorious Marella Voyager, and it was her inaugural cruise that we were on. So we've just arrived back home, and we wanted to do our recap of our last day on board. The ship was docked in Barcelona, and Marella obviously offer plenty of excursions that you can either book before you go on your cruise or when you're on board at the destination experience desks. However, we had a few bits and pieces that we had to do of filming so that we could bring you our ship tour, which will be available very soon. And we also had a late night the night before, so we had a lie-in and then decided to go to the kitchens for breakfast that morning. I actually had a cooked breakfast, so I did, which was really, really nice. And you didn't really. Well,
I had my usual fruit and yogurt.
Fruit and yogurt and Rice
Cereal,
Krispies is the height of his exoticness whenever it comes to his breakfast in the morning. So after we had breakfast, we headed back to our cabin just to get freshened up and to sort things out in our cabin. And then I will tell you how we spent our morning.
Yeah, so we had asked our cabin steward if it would be possible to get in to see another one of the cabins on our deck, and he said he could let us into an inside cabin. So we spent a little bit of time in that in the morning, just filming the footage for that cabin tour, and that will be linked up on the top right, as Johnny's pointing right now. It should be live by the time this video goes out.
So after that we were a bit peckish, so it was lunchtime and we headed up to the pool area.
So we just grabbed a quick lunch up on the pool deck on deck 11 at the snack shack. I had a hot dog and chips, and I think you had
fish and chips.
Fish and chips,
yeah,
like little fish goujons type thing.
Yeah, the fish and chips was lovely. Then we actually decided to go and grab a little salad. Well, I grabbed a little salad as well. It was like a coronation chicken salad. Noah's getting into his usual perch above us there. He's glad we're home. And it was lovely. It was really nice. It was. We had a nice lunch. It was just something light, and we had that quite early on because we had plans to go to the Platter later on that day.
So whilst we were sitting having our lunch at one of the little beach huts in the snack shack, we noticed that there was a little boy, and he seemed like he'd just got a new football. It had Barcelona on it. He'd been out for the day, and he wanted to play with his football, and he started kicking it toward one of the staff members that was working on the little pushy bar trolley things. And basically there was a whole back and forth, and he just played, and then other members of the Marella cruise team got involved, and it was just a really nice sort of thing to see.
Yeah, there was about 3 or 4 people, and like one of them was like doing like keepy uppies and things like that, and this wee fella must have only been about 3 years of age, and he was like, wow, and and then afterwards, whenever he was sort of called by his parents because they were going inside, it was just well cute, like watching him wave, goodbye to the staff, and the staff really seemed to enjoy that. And it was something that we noticed was really nice about Marella is that the staff, I think, are encouraged to spend time with guests, and there didn't seem to be anybody on the staff's back, as in to say, you're spending too long talking to that person, or talking to the likes of those 3 guys who were playing football with this kid. There was nobody there going, oh, you should be doing something else, or serving drinks, or cleaning the deck, or whatever. It was, it just sort of seemed to be allowed, and it's great, because, from talking to people that on board this week, one of the things that people have said that are recurring, repeat customers, the one thing that brings them back to Marella is the staff, because the staff don't change a lot. There's not a huge, turnover. A lot of the
but
stuff.
Also, like the highlight for many people's cruise is seeing the same staff and seeing the delight that the staff take in the work that they do.
Yeah.
And they do seem happy,
Yeah. So then we, after lunch, we went back to the cabin, we did a bit of work in the afternoon, spent some time then chilling in the balcony. The weather was really glorious, and we spent some time just chilling in the afternoon. And then at 3 o'clock we decided to go to Platter. So Platter, it's a chargeable venue on Voyager. It's a what's the best way to describe it? It's sort of like a bar where you would go and obviously you have drinks of wine and then basically you pick platters. And there's like a cheese menu and a meat menu. There's vegan options too. And you put together these platters of like cheeses or meats and things like that. So it's like a charcuterie board. And there's 3 different sizes you can get. There's a small one, which is sort of an individual size, and it's priced at $5.95. The medium, which is suitable for 2 people, is priced at $9.45. And we'll put these up on screen as well. And the large one, which is suitable for 3 people, or 2 very hungry people, is $13.95. And it's important to remember that whenever you pick the cheeses and meats and things like that on your platter, it's also served with breads, crackers, and pickled vegetables, and there was a lovely chutney and
olive oil.
Yeah, and olive oil. And so I'm not a wine drinker, but I think, and neither is Will really, but I think we ended up drinking nearly a bottle of wine between us, just because we were sort of munching away in the breads. And we've been joined by Paul and Carole, from Paul and Carole Loves to Travel, and it was great having a chance to chat to them, and they seemed to really enjoy it too. But it was a nice way to spend about an hour, maybe an hour and a quarter in the afternoon, just munching on those cheeses and
because something that I've noticed on this ship compared to the other Marella ships that we've been on is that at the late night buffet they don't ever do like a cracker and cheese and a bit of ham, which I really like to have at a late night buffet. But the buffet has been great on this ship, and it's had lovely like that buttered chicken the other night, but it just didn't have those like crackers.
I know. Look. I know, folks. Will is a bit weird. You know, most people go to the late night snacks for burgers, curries, chips, and Will's looking for crackers and cheese. You know, and he was very disappointed I didn't get them. So if anybody's watching from Marella, you need to sort the crackers and cheese out at night time, please. So after that, we went back to our cabins. And we had received then our information about getting packed up and disembarkation. And we had an invitation for the exchange. So we've just got back to our cabin, and this has been under the door. So we're hoping that this is our invite to the exchange. So it says, Marella Cruises invites you to the lock-in at the exchange. Shh. We're having a lock-in, and a little bird told us you're angling for an invite. Well, here it is. Head to the exchange. You'll find it on deck 8. You'll need this code to get in and ask for Mr. Giggle Juice. I shouldn't have had that wine earlier. Keep it under your hat, not literally mind. Give us a call on the big red dog and bone. If you pass muster, one of the cable guys and gals will let you in. Dress code looking sharp. So so we booked this before we came on board, and it was $14.95. So we're really looking forward to this because this is something new to Marella Cruises. So of course we'll take some videos and let you know how it goes later. Now, the invitation obviously is part of the package that you purchase for exchange. Obviously we paid for our own, and it's priced at £14.95. If I'm wrong, we'll correct it down below. It's part of this package, okay, so that you're invited.
Johnny, what is the exchange?
Well, I'm going to tell them now.
Okay.
So you're invited along, and basically it's to a secret bar on board. It's sort of like a speakeasy kind of style, and we don't really want to give too much away about it.
We don't.
But you need a password to get in.
Yeah.
And you have to make a phone call and speak to someone to give them the password to get in. And then there are characters inside this bar, and the experience that we had was a lock-in. So
so the experience was called the lock-in. We experienced. Yeah.
So basically, we were having a secret party in a secret bar, and I think it's a really unique experience. You know, we went with my mum and aunt my aunt sort of sat there feeling she was in the Twilight Zone. I don't think she knew what was going on. And you have to be prepared to sort of take part.
Yeah.
They don't make you do anything that you're going to really humiliate yourself with or anything. So by all means, don't let it put you off if you think, but for example, there's a songbook on your table.
Songbook. So you might be singing.
Yeah, so you might be singing. And obviously there's music, so you might be dancing. But it was the experience was an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And it was good. We enjoyed it. It does include 3 unique cocktails to that venue. We have to say though, and we're not going to give anything more away than this, but the ending just was a bit strange.
It was a wee bit strange. Yeah.
I think we were expecting more at the end than what actually happened. And we were later talking to one of the entertainment hosts about that, and sort of saying that we thought more was going to happen at the end than what actually did. So I'm hoping that, this was the first cruise. They'd already done this a few times beforehand. So we're hoping that maybe Marella are looking at this to sort of see about how they can tweak that experience to sort of make it more, just to sort of really polish off the ending is what we will say. We had a great time. So that experience starts at 8:30 and it lasts for approximately about an hour and a half.
Hour and a half, yeah.
So we got a bit carried away there talking about the exchange. So we forgot about dinner, which we had in latitude 53.
Yeah, so you had to start, was it the chicken goujon?
Yeah, yes. Chicken goujons, yeah.
And then you had chicken Kiev for your main. Someone must have really wanted chicken last night. And I had the red pepper arancini and the honey roast ham.
Yours looked quite nice, actually.
Mine was really nice. Was yours nice?
Yeah, no, it was lovely. Yeah, it was. There was quite a lot of garlic in the chicken Kiev, but it was nice. And then for dessert, I had this baked chocolate mousse cake, which was really chocolatey and really nice.
No, I wouldn't like that.
No,
I don't like chocolatey.
Yeah. Will had bread and butter pudding. So
it was really good.
Yeah, it did actually look quite nice. Mm-hmm. So after our experience in the just to go back, latitude, things were a bit slow last night. Again, but look, we weren't in a rush as such. Even though we had to go to the exchange for 8:30. It is just making sure that you give plenty of patience just with the new staff that are working there, and if you can go a bit earlier for your dinner, it's probably advisable, and just sort of take that wee bit longer then for your meal in the evening time, as opposed to sort of going in and at 7 o'clock or 7:30 and thinking you're going to be really busy and you're thinking you're going to be out within the hour to go and see the show. So after dinner, then we went to the exchange, and after exchange then, Will and I hot-footed it then to the Broadway Show Lounge, and tonight's show was by the Marella Show cast, and it was Rock Rebels. And it was just a show with different rock classics in it. The audience really seemed to feel it. There was a few on their feet, there was a few dancing, there was a few giving it all, and it was a great show. It was a very high energy show. And I think at times, you could really tell that the showcast were, out of puff when they were singing, because they were really giving it large.
I think you could tell that the showcast was really enjoying performing the show. Yeah. And they were really going all out effectively on that one. And
and there was one thing actually the cruise director said after the show about how obviously the showcast put on so many shows each week. And hopefully, yes, we have our favourite shows, but hopefully, we can't tell what their favourite shows is. And we really couldn't, because they really do give it 110% every evening that they're performing.
They absolutely do.
Yeah. And the shows only last about 45 minutes. So definitely, if you're on board, they're really worthwhile checking out in the Broadway Show Lounge. Okay, Poppy.
So we really didn't want the night to end. Even after having dinner at Latitude, our experience in the exchange, and then the Rock Rebels final show for us. So we decided to go to the back of the ship to the Squid and Anchor on deck 7, as we'd heard the band jam was on.
Yeah, and we've been on other Marella ships, and the band jam is literally where every musician on the ship comes together and performs together for one sort of night only. And I say one night only, but it happens once a week. But one night only for us on our cruise, and it's a really good night, and we've really enjoyed it on other ships. But Squid and Anchor was jam-packed. So we only
Jam
stayed there.
packed for the band jam.
Excuse the pun. So, but basically, yes, we stayed there a short while, and then it was literally we couldn't get a table or anything, so we then decided to move on to somewhere else.
So we decided to go from deck 7 with the squid up to deck 11 to the summer house and grab that one last drink of our cruise.
Yeah, so we decided to sit outside. It was a lovely evening, and we sat out the after the ship. But I think we've learned this week, after meeting our new friends Paul and Carole, that one last drink is not one last drink.
No.
So we were there for a few drinks, and then we really had to call it a night at 1 o'clock, as we had to go back to our cabins and pack our cases. So for anybody who hasn't travelled with Marella before, or haven't cruised with Marella before, on your last evening, you have to pack your suitcases, leave them outside your cabin door by 2 a.m. The ship crew then will come and take them from outside your cabin doors.
Just like magic.
Just like magic. And then they appear in the morning in the terminal building. So the day before, you'll get obviously information. You'll get luggage tag, which will have a colour and your cabin number on it. And that's how you'll identify your case then the next day in the terminal building. On that information, it also tells you what time you have to leave the ship at. And for us, sad to say, it was 8 a.m. that our bus was leaving. So we decided to leave the ship at around we left our cabin around 7:30, said goodbye to our cabin steward, who at this point we should really say was fantastic. We then left the cabin at 7:30 and called for my mum and aunt, and then we headed down to deck 3 where we disembarked. So we were all on our coach quite early, and we left a few minutes just before 8 o'clock on our way back to Palma Airport.
Thank you all for watching our first vlog series on a ship ever. It's been a bit of a learning process for us, but it's actually been really fun.
Yeah, I've enjoyed it too. Because sometimes whenever you go on a cruise, you'll find, and especially if this is your first cruise, you'll find that you'll do so much.
You're just not going to remember everything you've done.
Every day you just want to jam pack as much as you can into your day, and you have to remember too, sometimes it's okay to do nothing.
You're on holiday.
Yeah, you are on holiday.
And the cruise ship is part of your holiday. You know, you have to remember that as well.
Yeah, like one couple we met actually were saying that they feel that they have to get off at every stop. But as I sort of reminded them, don't forget, you're paying to be on the cruise ship. So sort of like if you compare that to sort of going to a hotel on land, and if it's an all-inclusive hotel, but you decide
spend all your time away from the hotel.
Away from the hotel, it's sort of pointless.
What have you paid for?
What have you paid for? So, part of your holiday is actually the cruise ship. And for us, we really enjoyed our time.
So if you liked this video, please consider giving it a thumbs up, and also consider subscribing to our channel. It's free and it really helps us out. Don't forget to hit that bell as well if you want to be notified about our upcoming videos. And do we have any upcoming videos?
Yeah, so we have plenty planned. Will has been roaming around the ship like something crazy with his phone, taking loads of footage. So we have an array of different videos coming soon. So keep an eye on our Marella playlist on YouTube and our social media channels. Thanks for watching, folks. Bye-bye.
Thanks.